Well, hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Vicki Chats podcast. I have a very special guest in the studio with me today, Mayor Danny Laudick.
Hey, everyone.
Yes, hey, ladies and gentlemen. Danny Laudick, this is his second time with me, and I'm just so thrilled to have you back again.
Great to be back.
Oh, thank you so much. You're originally from Grand Junction, Colorado, and you moved to Cedar Falls as an infant, and you now call it home with your wife, Jessie, and your two puppy dogs, Cinnamon and Loki. A graduate of Cedar Falls High School and the University of Northern Iowa with a degree in business economics, Danny has built a career in economic development, launching initiatives like the Cedar Valley Makerspace, Cedar Valley Strong, and the Black Business Entrepreneur Accelerator. Now serving in his second term as mayor, he's focused on bringing people together to unlock opportunity and move Cedar Falls forward. Welcome, Danny.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. So since the last time you were on, what's changed most in your day-to-day life as mayor?
Yeah, the biggest thing is just the change in daily routine.
Okay.
You go from, well, I was always in roles that were fairly public facing, like
Yes.
Cedar Valley, did a lot of community events,
Yes.
but in this role even more so. You're just always, any event you go to, you're always having a chance to talk to people, interact with
Yes.
people, which on one hand I love.
Right.
This is my hometown, and my work's always been very community facing.
Yes.
Community development's my passion. And there are times where it wears you out.
Yes.
And there's times where we've made the decision not to go to a live to 9
Yes.
because
Of
we're like, well, I don't
course.
have to talk to people, and maybe we'll just
Right.
stay home tonight.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so you do learn to just balance that energy. You can't be burned out all the time. You can't not be out ever.
Right.
And so you just learn to balance
Exactly.
your personal time and that personal energy with the work.
There you go. What is something that our viewers would be surprised to learn about you?
Yeah. Surprised to learn about. I want to come up with a new one.
Okay.
I know in the past I've used
Yes.
I was an art major.
Yes.
A lot more of the creative background. And let's see if I can come up with a new one.
Mm-hmm.
And, I can't remember if I used this before, but people might not know I was an overweight kid.
Oh, yes.
You know how every, like in
Oh.
elementary school, there's usually each grade usually has, one of the kids that's the token bigger kid. And that was me
Right.
for probably through junior high. And I was still a big kid through junior high and high school. And I always was athletic. I played a lot of sports, but I just ate everything. Didn't have much metabolism.
Of course.
And so I think a lot of times when people find out that was actually more of my upbringing, was kind of being the kid that got made fun of a lot.
Yes, of course.
so
I was too.
Yeah.
They made fun of me because I was emotional and would cry at the drop of a hat.
Yeah.
And they thought that was weird. So I get it.
Yep. And so, you have a very small friend group because you're not really in the popular crowd.
Right.
And that was always, because of that, I think a lot of my upbringing and through school, I was friends with everybody, but you also learned to be friends with everybody, like, because you didn't just have your group.
Yeah.
So you learn to interact with everybody,
that's
learn about
true.
people.
What a great point.
And also I was the mediator. Like my parents taught me, not to hurt others, not to,
Of course.
but at the same time, they also taught me I need to stick up for myself and to stick up for others.
Yes.
And so I would also stand up for the other kids getting picked on, even though I might let it happen to myself,
Right.
but always looked out for everyone else.
It's beautiful. I love that so much. So how do you personally recharge when the job gets overwhelming?
Yeah, the personal recharge piece is, like I mentioned a second ago, is really important.
Yes.
Because if you don't find a chance to recharge, you're never valuable to anybody if you're burned out.
Right.
Because then you're just going through the motions.
Exactly.
You're not making good decisions. Your judgment's thrown off because you're burned out. You want to get things done.
Yeah.
So for me, a lot of it's just exercise.
Nice.
And I don't really train for anything particular.
Yeah.
I'll go out and run, do some weight training.
Nice.
That's my personal space.
Yeah.
I still end up talking to people. It's hard to avoid.
Of course.
But a lot of it is just making sure to make that time for doing that. And it helps you recharge. And it's good to feel physically worn out.
Mm-hmm.
When your mind's worn out, it can make you not sleep well.
Right.
And so just doing that, and then just time with my wife and the dogs.
Yes.
And making sure when you're in those moments to be present.
Oh, yes.
Because you can't be sitting there with your family and then thinking about work.
Yes.
So just trying to be very intentional about being present in the moment
Exactly.
when you're not supposed to be working, when you're spending time with family, with friends.
Right. So, who has influenced your leadership style the most? That's a deep sigh.
I've always been the type, I've never had like a mentor.
Okay.
I've always been the
Interesting.
type that you learn from everybody you have a chance to. Every job I've had, you learn from the people you work with. Some people you maybe respect their leadership more, so you do spend a little more time like paying attention to what they do.
Right.
And so I would just say every single person I've had a chance to interact with and learn from, you just naturally always pull, okay, what are they doing that I can see that I feel is effective?
Yes.
What do I respect about the way they lead things? What do I not like about what they lead? And then don't do those things. So I would say too, I learned just as much from what not to do from others as you look to the great mentors of people you would like to be like.
Exactly.
And I've never really ever read a specific leadership book or anything that I would say, but I've read, well, usually I'm the type, I'll get the book, I won't read the whole book, but you kind of, you read it for the general feeling of it.
Right.
And, so just pulling from everything.
Oh, it's beautiful. So you've built a reputation as a connector, bringing people together. But what's the personal cost of always being the bridge?
The personal cost of always being the bridge.
Yes.
A big part of it is you're always put in the middle. And especially in this role, a lot of your job is to be a mediator.
Yes.
A lot of it's, if something gets elevated to you, usually it's gone through some other process that didn't work out. So then people are coming to you to say, we need you to make a judgment on this. So you're kind of always put in the position where there's no just right or wrong answer. Because all these things, it's usually a gray area.
Yes,
and you're trying to balance what somebody wants versus what somebody else wants.
Exactly.
What somebody wants versus what's best for the city and for the community as a whole.
Right.
Because oftentimes what's best for the one individual that somebody wants is not what's right for the community.
Oh, of course.
And in this position, you're making a decision for 40,000 people.
Yes.
And you might want to just, okay, you know what? I'm just going to make an easy one-off decision and just give this person what they want.
Right.
And it makes them happy. But that might not be what's best for the community. It might set a bad precedent.
Exactly.
So it kind of puts you in that position where you're always trying to balance the needs.
Right.
And I would say, though, the one biggest thing is as long as you can show you genuinely listened to everyone's concerns, all the parts of it, and say, here's why I'm making the decision I'm making. Here's the information I'm using. People don't always like the decision.
Right.
But almost always I've found, as long as you're open with why you made the decision and people felt you genuinely listened to their point of view, usually they respect the decision.
There you go.
And that's often the best you can do is just making sure everyone understands why the decision's being made, that we listened to. And sometimes, you will find, there's instances where the city's not perfect and where maybe we didn't do something the best we could.
Exactly.
And you say, hey, we didn't do this the best we could. And here's what we're going to do to fix it.
Exactly. So how about this one? Was there a moment in your first term when you realized this is heavier than I expected? And what did that teach you?
Because there is, as you get into a role like this, in normal day-to-day life, I think before I was ever in this job, you maybe have one or two things happen a year that are controversial or that you're just like, I don't know the right answer in this. And it weighs on you. In this job, you just get used to, there's always 2 to 3 of those things going on at a time.
Oh my gosh.
Just because, again, you were talking about how you're putting that middle ground of you're asked to make a judgment.
Right.
And so usually you don't, in normal day-to-day life, just have someone that wants something from you and they're mad at you.
Right.
And so in this role, that's part of leadership is you're asked to make judgment calls on difficult situations. So I'd say there is a balance of, you do kind of build up a callus because you finally realize like, oh, this is just how things will be normal. There will always be something coming to you.
Exactly.
But you also don't want to get too calloused, because that's when I think you see leaders, and especially in political roles, where people just stop listening because out of self-defense, you just put up this wall.
Exactly.
And you're like, you know what? I don't have the emotional wherewithal to deal with the gray area of this. I'm just going to say no, or I'm just going to.
Of course.
So I would say you do get used to there's always decisions being asked of you.
Yes.
And it does weigh on you.
Yeah.
But you just learn to balance. How do you take time to disconnect from it, spend time with family and friends.
Right.
And a conversation we had a bit ago, you also learn that you can't be indecisive.
Right.
You know, again, there's a leadership quote, I can't remember it exactly, but it talks about how leaders can be uncertain, but they can't be indecisive.
Ooh.
Because people are looking to you for a decision.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And it's okay to even say, I don't know that this is the right decision, but this is the decision we're making.
Yes.
Because it's when you're indecisive is when people there creates friction.
Yes.
Because then people are like, well, there's still a chance I can get what I want, and people start infighting.
Of course they do.
So just being able to, you get used to, hey, I might not know all the information I need to know.
Right.
But based on what I know, here's the decision we're going to make, and we just need to move forward with it.
Exactly. So how do you and your wife, Jessie, navigate the public nature of your role?
That's a constant balance.
Yeah.
She's not from the metro area. She's from up by Sumner area, small town, family farm. And so she does not really, like, this isn't her thing.
Yeah.
She's fully supportive of me in it,
Sweet.
which actually helps me balance it too.
Right.
Like, she'll watch council meetings just so she knows I can come home and talk about it if I want to. And
that's sweet.
But I think it helps us balance that. We find things to go do. You know, we'll go up and see the family up in the Sumner area at the farm, or
sweet.
You know, we went to lunch at the Iowa Prime, or to dinner with family for her mom's birthday at the Iowa Prime house up in Janesville.
Fun.
So you just always have to balance finding things to go do where you can get out of the feeling of being the mayor.
Right.
And I think for me, what's always helped is I have an enormous amount of respect for the title of this role. Mm-hmm. Because it's important to a lot of people.
Yes.
And, you know, when the mayor shows up to something, it's the mayor. The
mayor's
here. At the same time, I think just growing up in the Midwest, I've always been like, well, it's a service.
Yes.
Like, it's a job. It's
servant leadership.
It's not. Yes. It's good to be reminded and remind yourself constantly, like, it's just a job and title. Right. It's a very big, important title.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, you're here to provide leadership and the service for the community.
Exactly.
And serve in your season and be there.
Right.
But then also know there's life beyond this role.
Right.
You know, there's something I hope to go do in the next stage of my life after this. So just finding out how can you serve and be valuable in the time you're here. Mm-hmm. But then from that, how do you balance it with family? It's just that constant, just making sure, again, being present in the time you have outside of this role.
Exactly.
And when you're home with your family, you're not the mayor.
Right.
You're a husband, you're a father. We don't have kids, but we have dogs.
Yeah.
So you're a fur father, fur baby father, whatever that is.
Yeah, fur baby father.
But just remembering, like, that's not who you are. It's not your identity.
Yeah, it's not your identity. So when you reflect on your younger self, still figuring things out in college, what would surprise him, the younger Danny Laudick, most about the way you lead today?
I think what would surprise him most is, again, that assertiveness that comes with the role.
Yeah.
Because being a very mediator type person, you're always looking for a win-win solution. You're always looking to bring people together, and I think especially at that younger age, you avoid conflict. Like, you don't. Of course you do. Naturally, you're trying to make everyone happy. Right. But then I think it's not long, not in just this role, but any leadership role, where you realize you can't make everyone happy, and you actually hurt the overall situation by trying to make everyone happy. Oh, sure. And honestly, even the people that you're trying to make happy, sometimes you do them a disservice because you won't be direct with them about what the situation is, or you won't be direct with them about the direction we're going. Right. And it leaves them uncertain.
Oh, yeah.
So I think just being able to step into that and be decisive, make the decisions, knowing it's not going to make everybody happy. Right. And I know when I first told my mom I was running for mayor, she was like, but there are just some people won't like you. And she was worried that, the people won't like me. And I was like, well, yeah, but that's part of the job. And 42,000 people in Cedar Falls, and you're trying to make decisions that affect everybody often. And you just learn to be okay with knowing, again, as long as you know you followed your principles, you listened, you took in all the input you could, and you made a decision based on the best judgment you had at the moment.
There you go.
And you move forward.
That's right. I love that. Any closing thoughts?
No, just that I do have such an appreciation for your community in this role, because you see how much work
Yes.
goes into making communities what they are.
Right.
It almost makes you feel like that can be fragile.
Of
Because I think you grow up in a
course.
great community. Like in Cedar Falls, we have so many good things going.
Yes.
And you just assume that's always been there
Right.
and always will be there.
Right.
But then when you're in a job like this, you do learn it doesn't mean it will
No.
always be there. It takes a lot of
Right.
intentional effort, not just by the
Yes.
city or
Right.
elected leaders, but by the community itself.
Exactly.
Because I'd say one of the biggest things I've learned is the success of this community doesn't just depend on the city getting all the work done, or
Mhm.
it really depends on, does the community want to invest in
Right.
itself? I'll use the mall example.
Okay.
Just
Yes.
recently got purchased by a local investor.
Right.
Like, sure, I could sit there all day and say, we want to get this locally owned, but it still takes someone in the community
Yeah.
to step up, put their
Right.
money on it, and be willing to invest in that,
Yes.
which thankfully someone
Exactly.
did.
Yes.
So I was really excited we were able to work with the local owner,
Mhm.
and then now going forward, be able to work with them
Right.
to see what that can be for the community. But just that appreciation for this community only is successful because the community invests in itself.
Amen.
And a lot of
Yes.
our job in community leadership roles is how do we make sure to continue engaging people and making
Yes.
the community for people to
Right.
feel like investing in.
Exactly. I love that. Thank you so much, Mayor Laudick.
Of course,
It's just been a pleasure and
It's
an
always good to see
honor. Thank you, you too. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being with us. You have a wonderful rest of your day.
thanks everyone.